Hello guys, today we're going to talk about the input. The input is like the field where the user can insert or enter data or select data, and it has several ways to display it. As you can see over here, so this is the input text when you enter your first name or last name. So this is the input type text. If you want to enter the password, so this is the input type password. As you can see, nobody can see what's like you type, or input type email, or input type phone if you want to just add a phone number. And this is a checkbox if you want to select between, like, select more than one option. So it's like here I have a bike, I have a car, I have a boat, whatever. So this is the option if you have a case like that, the input type checkbox. And at the end, the input type read you if you want to select between many different options. So let's select the gender, either male, female, or other, so you can select just one. So let's get started and see how we're gonna create this input form. So now we have an empty HTML file called inputs over here, and as you see when you refresh it, it's empty. So let's start to write our code. First, let's have a heading, and we said example of input type. And oh yeah, I forgot, I'm sorry to tell you also, we will talk about the label. And if you can see over here, the different, this is not a normal text. Like, let's say here password. So when you hit password, nothing change. But when you hit last name or first name or email or phone number, as you can see, this input field actually getting active. So the label, the difference between the label and the text is just a normal text, but the label, it's bind with the input field with like certain way. I'll show you how you bind them together. But this is the difference between the label and the text. Also over here, as you can see here, enter your phone. So this is also when you want to leave a hint to the user about what he supposed to enter over here, what's expecting to be entered over here. So this is called a space holder. Also, we will see how we gonna write that. So let's get back to our code, an example of input, and let's have a label over here. And for this is the tag for let's say this is gonna be username, so UN, and we close the label tag and we're gonna user name. Now we will open the input tag. Type will be equal. As you can see here, once you type equal, all the input types will display it over here, so you can select. We have a button, we have a checkbox, color, a date, file, email, months, password, radio, but we're gonna select input type text over here, input type text, and then we will have an ID. So this ID has to be matched with the label for to bind them together, and also the ID will also, we need it when we talk about the forms later in the next lectures. So the ID here, UN, it should be same exactly as the label for, and then we close it like that. And let's do the break BR. So this is to go one line, and instead of like have everything in a one line. So if you wanna just go line down, so you put BR break, and let's save this, and we go to this file and refresh it. As you can see, example of the input type in the username. So let's add another input field. Let's copy this right here. The for level will be PW instead of like a password, and here passwords, and this is the ID also will be VW, and the input type here equal, we select password. And let's also do one more. Let's use another button. Let's say we have like a login form. So of course the button has no label, but it has an input type, which will be input type equal button. So let's select here B button, the first one, and the ID, let's say B. And here there is another attributes we can add. Let's say this button, we want to display submit on this button, so this will be the value equal submit. And let's save and see what's okay. It's right here, the username, password, and submit. Of course it's not active, nothing, no action when we press it. We will discuss later how, in the forms, when we discuss the forms, we will see how this works. So this is actually briefly explaining about the label and the text field and what the type of the text field. As I told you, there's like a plenty over here. So the inputs, as you see, equal. You can select checkbox, color, date, date time, email field hidden. Here one more things I want to use also the input type radio, because let's see here this our file. Let's go to the code and explain to you. So this is a checkbox. It's just a normal. You insert also input type checkbox and the ID, which is and it has a name that will be appears, and the value. So this value that we're gonna use it when we talk about the forms, how we're gonna use this, and the name. This is what will be displayed over here. So let's say display the checkbox over here. Let's put it that way. So the checkbox also, it has an input type checkbox. Also, if you guys sometimes mistype it, so it's better when we hit equal. So we select from the library checkbox, and this is the ID, which it should be matches with matched with the label ID vehicle. And as you see here, vehicle 1, and you see the label for vehicle 1. And also this is, as I told you, it's increase the area where we hit, because sometimes this checkbox is going to be like too small, so you need to have like increase the area where you're going to hit this. So when you bind the label with the field, so you see, if you hit here car, it will select the checkbox, you hit the boat. So it's not only when you use it with a text, but also this is really important here, and it's helpful. Also here, same thing. This is when you bind the label with the input field, and you see it's matched over here, and the name and the value. So we'll talk about the value later when we talk about the forms. And here we have I have a bike. This is the label, and this is another checkbox and the label, and another checkbox with the label, so 3. And here the radio, let's explain here something, because it's really important for about the form action right now, because we're not going to use it. Here when we are selecting in the checkbox, so we can pass many values, more than one value. But in a radio button, so we're just gonna pass one value. So let's see here the input type radio. Also, if you want to see how to get it from when you type equal, then all the input type will appear here, and this is the radio over here. And the ID, just please be careful. You see here the ID, it will be male, and the name gender, and the value male. So the ID, we will also combine it with the label, as I told you, for male and ID male. But the name over here, it has to be all the same. If you can see here, the name gender, the name gender, the name gender, because we're gonna use this name when we're passing a value you know, from the form to another, like either like a database or like another file or something. So we're gonna take only one value. So we're gonna use the same name and take either one of those value. So let's say if I select male, so the one that's selected is the gender, name gender, but the value will be male. But if I select this, it's still gonna be the same name gender, but the value will be female. But over here in a checkbox, if you can see, the name changes here, so it's not like the same. So the first name it's vehicle 1, the second name it's vehicle 2, and here vehicle 3. So it's different name. But in a radio button, we just use same name because we're gonna select only one value, and the value will be a different. Hope guys you understand it well. Please practice, and I see you next time. We will you know, talk about the forms, and we will like also use all those inputs again, like the password and input text and all those things. We're gonna use it again in the form. I wish you guys a good luck, and see you in the next lecture. Thank you so much. Goodbye.